You've worked hard to earn and save. Now it's time to make your money work hard for you. This is Empower Your Retirement with Frank and Frankie Guida of A Better Way Financial.
And I'm Heather Branch here with Frank and Frankie asking for their ideas on things you can be working on as far as getting prepared for this next phase of your financial life as you get closer to retirement, wanting to make sure you've got the plan in place that's going to help you reach your goals. So as you're listening today, if you have questions that you want to ask the guys, let's begin that conversation. You can give us a call at 610-440-3722 to put a time on the calendar to meet with Frank, Frankie, and their team at A Better Way Financial, a local independent family-owned business at A Better Way Financial. They have been helping folks for decades. They are here for you as well. Again, it's 610-440-3722. You can also find us anytime at abetterwayfinancial.com. If you, dear radio listener, today, if you are about 5 years away, you think from when you would like to retire, then ask yourself, have you started any kind of countdown checklist? Morningstar's Christine Ben says one of the items you need to have on that list is to de-risk your portfolio. Here's what she says.
A lot of people do come into retirement with very equity-heavy portfolios. The idea is that you're taking some risk off the table. And what you're doing there is that you're protecting yourself against a bad sequence of returns, specifically bad equity market losses showing up early in your retirement. So if you've built out your portfolio's allocation to safer assets, you could spend from those and leave your more aggressive equity assets intact, leave them room to recover when the market eventually does.
So it sounds what she's saying makes sense, guys. Although it feels, it does. It goes against what we have been doing our whole working lives where it's, invest and risk for growth. We got to flip our mindset now for this next phase of life. But when meeting with somebody new, maybe a first review process, how often do you see somebody coming in with a risky portfolio and maybe even riskier than they even realize? Do they even know what's going on?
Heather, Christine hit it right on the head. I mean, hit the nail on the head. She knows what she's talking about. We've been talking about this for a very, very long time. Right. When you invest in your accumulation years, is a different ball game from the way that you need to invest in your retirement years or those couple of years reaching up to those retirement years or during your retirement years. You really have to change the way you invest to make sure that you have a portfolio that is safe enough to get you through retirement.
Right.
And what do I mean by that? If you look at a graph of the year 2000 to the year 2025, and you look at how the stock market went, 2000, 2001, 2002, the stock market went down 50%, and then it came back, and 2008 came along, and boom, another 50% down, and then the market came back. But that's 13 years, where in 2000, the S&P 500 was at one number. In 2013, January 2013, 13 years later, it's at the same number.
Right. You
know what? In your accumulation years, it doesn't much matter because the years that followed were tremendous. And, you're averaging a really, really good rate of return. But the dynamic changes when you retire. The reason is, let's say 2000, 2001, the market goes down 50%. If you've got all your money in the market, you think, oh my goodness, my money just went down 50%. But it's worse than that because in your accumulation years, you're not taking any money out of your portfolio. In your retirement years, you put that money basically there to supplement your income in your retirement years. So your money didn't go down 50%. It went down significantly more because you're taking money out. Now, if you had $1 million portfolio and your portfolio goes down 50%, now you only got $500,000. Think about that for a minute. And now you're retired, and 3 years into your retirement, if you retired at 2000, you're at $500,000, but you're less than that because you've taken some out. Maybe you're at 400,000. It's scary. And then when the markets came back up to 2008 and they came back to normal, your money didn't come all the way back because you took some of it out and you're continuing to take it out when the money came back, when the market came back. And then 2008 hits and another 50%, and you're pulling money out, you're running into a position where you could actually run out of money. And that is a serious, serious problem.
Yeah, and that's why it's so important to make sure that your portfolio is set up within your personal risk tolerance and really having that conversation with a financial planner who's planning for your retirement because as you're in your accumulation stages, your advisor usually isn't looking at, well, what do I need to do to de-risk, like Christine was saying, as you're getting within that 5 years from retirement. But as you have that conversation with a retirement planner, someone who's able to focus on making sure that you're prepared for retirement, you can start to de-risk that portfolio. Because if you don't do that, what happens is you're in a position where if the stock market crashes within that next 5 years, you're in a position where you lost more than you might have felt comfortable with, and now you have to almost restart or continue working longer than you may have wanted to. So it's something that you want to have that conversation with and learn, well, what is that risk tolerance that you feel comfortable with, as well as how much risk do we need to take to accomplish our goals throughout our retirement years?
And you need to have a strategy. You know, at A Better Way Financial, we have a wonderful strategy for the retirement years where we show people, hey, you want to have money in the stock market. Why do you want to have money in the stock market? Because it's averaged the best returns over the long run. So why not have money in the stock market? You're not going to need all your money tomorrow. You're going to need it throughout your retirement. So you need to have a good return. But you also need to have safe money investments. Why? So when the stock market drops, instead of drawing your income from your stock market money, you're drawing it from your safe money and allowing that stock market money to grow again and get past where it was and come back to whole and beyond and that type of thing. So when the market's down, you're not selling and locking in those losses. You're allowing, look, every time the market has gone down, what's happened next, Frankie?
It's gone back up.
Yes.
Right.
It always has. So, you kind of feel comfortable with that.
Yeah, and what we're able to do is we'll be able to look through your current portfolio, let you know the risk associated with that portfolio, as well as the expected returns that we've seen over the past 25 years. So it's a good gauge of where you're currently at and how you're positioned for retirement. And so if you want to have one of these risk and return analysis drawn up for you, we're going to be able to offer that right now complimentary to the next 5 callers. So if you're 55 and older and you save $500,000 or more for your retirement, give us a call right now for your complimentary risk and return analysis. That number is 610-440-3722. That's 610-440-3722.
You know, Frankie, it's kind of like that couple that came in from Lehighton the other day. They came over. They had come to one of our workshops. I think it was at Woodstone Country Club. Wonderful people. He was 66 and she was 64. They wanted to retire next year, wanted to be snowbirds, had a portfolio about 1.2 million. But it was so aggressive. They were averaging a good rate of return, 8.54%. But, if the market crashed like it did in 2008, they'd lose almost 43% of their money.
Well, that would be around almost $500,000 that they would lose in their portfolio, which when we discussed how they felt about risk, they had no comfort level losing $500,000.
Right. No.
And they said, in fact, I don't want to lose more than 20 to 25%. And we said, okay, well, here's how we can set up your portfolio so that you're not taking that same level of risk that you're taking now. Let's move it from an aggressive position to a more moderate position. And instead of a risk of going down 500,000 or close to 500,000, we're going to cut that in half to less than 240,000. So making a huge difference on that portfolio, making sure that they're not taking that same level of risk that they're taking as they're approaching and getting closer to retirement here. So that's the difference we're able to make. We're able to make sure that they are well positioned, well prepared, so that there's no surprises when it comes to what happens if the stock market crashes. Well, here's where it's at, 20 to 25% instead of that 40%, 40 to 45 where you're currently at now. So making sure that they're protected, and by utilizing the planning that we were able to do with this savings, they needed about $90,000 of income per year to live on over the course of their retirement years. And by utilizing the strategies that we were able to implement, we were able to show them that they could go up to $134,000 of income per year. We're talking an extra $44,000 to spend at their discretion each year over the course of their retirement, more than what they're currently spending today. If you'd like to learn more about how to get your own risk and return analysis, all you have to do is give us a phone call. And this is going to be available right now for the next 5 callers. So if you're 55 and older and you've saved $500,000 or more for your retirement, give us a call right now for your complimentary risk and return analysis. That number is 610-440-3722. That's 610-440-3722.
Thanks for listening to Empower Your Retirement with Frank and Frankie Guida. To learn more, visit abetterwayfinancial.com.
By contacting us, we'll review aspects of your retirement portfolio to include suggestions about how best to utilize estate, tax, and retirement planning strategies and other financial services, or if changing management styles is appropriate for your specific needs and objectives. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed should not be considered investment advice or recommendations to buy or sell any financial vehicle. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments can fluctuate and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. A Better Way Financial is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Any client experiences discussed during this show are unique to that client, and they are not meant to imply or suggest you will experience the same results. Advisory services offered through A Better Way Financial. Insurance offered through licensed professionals at A Better Way Financial. Pennsylvania Insurance License number 301779.